All right, this is a quick recap of all 8 parts of speech for you to check your notes and make sure that you have all of their functions written down. So let's get started. First, we have nouns. Remember, the whole point of a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea, and the short version can be PPTI, which stands for person, place, thing, or idea. They can be common, means they're lowercase, proper, a specific person, place, thing, or idea. Then we have our adjectives. Remember, adjectives are our describing words, and they only describe a noun and sometimes a pronoun, mostly nouns. This is where adjectives can answer one of the following questions. They can tell you how many of something. There's 6 puppies, so 6 is describing the puppies. They can tell you how many. They can tell you which one, what kind. Those are the questions that adjectives can answer. If I said the lace cloth, which cloth am I talking about? Which one? The one that's made of lace, the lace cloth. So those are our describing words that add things to our writing, but adjectives describe, you need to have that it describes both nouns and pronouns whenever you write or choose the function for your assessment, because that's quite important. Pronouns. Our pronouns, the whole function of a pronoun is that they replace the noun so it doesn't sound repetitive. And remember, there are personal pronouns, first person, I, me, my, you, your for second person, he, she, it, them, they for third person. You have your indefinites, which are not specific, reflexive pronouns, which reflect back to the subject, interrogative pronouns, which ask questions, who, what, where, when, those types of things. Relative pronouns, because they relate to the topic that is being discussed. Demonstrative pronouns, they emphasize the topic or the subject. And intensive pronouns, they intensify the subject. No matter what type of pronoun, and we also, I left off possessive, that show ownership. No matter what type of pronoun it is, the whole point of a pronoun is that it replaces a noun. Then we have our verbs. Remember, verbs can be action or linking. Action words are words that can be done. Linking verbs are the ones that link the subject to an adjective. So those are those be verbs. And so again, learn them. Am, is, are, was, were. Be, being, been. Adverbs. Adverbs are other describing words that we use from the 8 parts of speech. Remember, both describing parts start with an A, so they're easy to remember. But these describe a verb, another adverb, or an adjective. And here's a clue. If you look at the word adverb, here's how you know the answer is in the word. It describes a verb, has the word verb in it. It describes an adverb, so it has the whole word, and it describes an adjective, which it starts with the same 2 letters. So that will help you maybe to remember exactly what adverbs describe. A lot of times they end in ly, but they're going to answer the question of how something is done, to what degree or extent. Remember, not, never, always, often, when something would be done, and sometimes where it is done. And those are our adverbs, our other type of describing words that add detail. We have our conjunctions. Our conjunctions are those words that connect. There are Lego pieces for our sentences and for other words, and that's what they do. They connect them. And then we have prepositions. Remember, prepositions show that relationship with the subject to the rest of the sentence. It's probably the longest definition that you have. But if you can remember that it shows a relationship, that's the most important part. And a lot of times they will answer where. Where is the subject in relationship to the noun in the end of the sentence? And last but not least, we have interjections. Interjections, their whole function is to show an emotion or a feeling. and they interject how somebody feels about something, and most of the time they come at the beginning, and they're going to be separated out with either a comma or an exclamation point. So when you see a punctuation mark at the beginning of the sentence with a word, then that should be that, oh, aha moment. That has to be an interjection. So make sure you check your notes that you have all 8 parts of speech and then you have their functions. This is how you label a sentence. I mentioned at the beginning that we were going to learn how to do this, so here's just a quick example just to give you a little idea of what we are talking about. Okay, so, hey, I called your name across the field, but Julie looked really confused. All right, so hey, interjection, because it comes at the beginning, exclamation point, interjects. I is a pronoun. Called. So who's the sentence about? It's about I, and what did I do? I called. So that's a verb. Okay. Name is a noun. Whose name? So this is a possessive pronoun because it's your name. Where did I with the name of the field? The relationship is across. I called across. So this would be a preposition. The is always going to be an adjective. Field is a noun, it's a thing. But here's my conjunction, my Lego piece. Julie's a person, it's a noun. What did she do? She looked, so that's a verb. How did she look? Really, which is an adverb. And confused is an adjective describing Julie. And that is how you would label a sentence. That's why it's important to understand their functions. So as you work through your sentence, you can think about what is that word, what's it doing in the sentence, so then you can match it up to its appropriate function. And that's how we label sentences. We will have a few of these for practice to do in your future.